that dial. For the next half hour, you'll see the biggest, the baddest, the meanest, the best monster trucks in the world. We've got them in Providence, Rhode Island. The next stop on the U.S. Hot Rod Association's Monster Truck Challenge Tour. All the action coming your way right here on ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island is the next stop on the road to the championship for the 6 best monster trucks in the world. Hello, racing fans. I'm Ken Broo. Welcome to another edition of Monster Truck Challenge. And I'll be perfectly frank with you, you're going to see some great racing action today. Gary Porter led all qualifiers with a time of 2.39 seconds. And Gary feels like he's got his ride dialed in and ready to win. He's going to face fellow North Carolinian Lyle Hancock and Gravedigger in the first round. The other matchups are third-place qualifier Taurus with Jackie Willman at the wheel and Bigfoot, who plays 6th in the qualifying round, and second-seeded Barefoot against Equalizer. Now, you know that David Morris is having a great year, but here in Providence, he fell off to 5th in the qualifying. Could that hurt him tonight? Let's go trackside. Joe Lowe, the voice of Monster Truck Challenge, is standing by.
The crowd in Providence is on their feet as we start side-by-side competition. Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher made some changes earlier. Gary, you think you're going to be happy with those, and what did you do?
Well, this afternoon I changed some stuff on the ignition. I tried to put a little hotter spark in there so I can burn more fuel to make more horsepower. The truck, you know, it hooked up good on the starting line. It didn't seem to spin very much, and I'm pleased with the times, and I think I'll stick with that lane the rest of the night.
Final question, short track, how does that help you?
The short track is really won in the first 25 feet from where we started to the cars. That's where the race is won or lost, and I'm going to have to be really quick off the light and good on the starting line to get the win tonight.
Gary, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Later. Gary speaking with Steve McDonald of Monster Truck Challenge. Now, Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher come from Wadesboro, North Carolina. He's going up against another truck from North Carolina, Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger out of Kill Devil Hills. Now, the Digger is piloted today by Lyle Hancock. Dennis recuperating from that accident at the end of the season last year. We're set to go. Providence, Rhode Island sees the monsters as Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher smoke the hapless Gravedigger. You gotta wonder what happened to Digger. Lyle Hancock was looking great in the qualification earlier, but he says he doesn't know. Thumbs down as we look at it one more time. The Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter will advance to second round action. Here's that run. Crusher in the blue lane, Digger in the yellow lane. The headlights of the Gravedigger are still on, but apparently he lost power. May have blown a transmission on that run. Carolina Crusher just looks great. Nice run over the cars, and Steve McDonald standing by with Lyle Hancock.
The motor had actually broke loose in the cage, and that basically put me out for running for the night.
That's the first time I've heard of that one. Bigfoot and Taurus. Dan Runte drives the Bigfoot 10. Let's go trackside with him.
Taurus is a tough competitor. The Ford Bigfoot's really been running outstanding. I just have to learn to work with the truck. This is only my 3rd weekend in the truck. I was driving an old Bigfoot 7. I shouldn't say old, but it was a leaf spring truck where we're just on nitrogen shocks here, and it's a lot different ride and a lot different learning to drive it.
A Ford and a Chevy teaming up. The big blue Ford, Bigfoot, Dan Runte driving, going up against the reigning world champion, Jackie Willman, and the red Chevy Taurus.
Talk about the struggles in driving a new truck.
It's just the suspension's a lot more softer. It's got a lot more body roll. It's just a lot more hard to keep on the track.
Going to be going up against Bigfoot. What do you think?
Yeah, all we can do is give it our best shot.
There you go. Both new trucks, both featuring that new suspension. We're going to see a showdown between Bigfoot and Taurus right now. That run was so close. I don't know if viewers could tell. I could not. The U.S. Hot Rod Association, we've asked them to review the ESPN replay. And let's do it together right now. Off the line, Bigfoot races first. He gets a bit of a hole shot off of Taurus. And the U.S. Hot Rod Association says that hole shot was enough to propel Bigfoot to the win. Here we can see on the side cam another shot. And it's clear here the win goes to Dan Runte and the Bigfoot Racer. Our next matchup between Barefoot and Equalizer. Brent Schaefer out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois, going up against David Morris and the Equalizer. David Morris out of Springfield, Tennessee. We call him Smiling Dave, and he has reason to be. He's been picking up a lot of wins this year. Brent Schaefer, he was world champion 2 years ago in Barefoot, and he is trying to catch the pack in 1992. David Morris backs up as he stages for this matchup. Wife and a young daughter sitting back in Springfield, Tennessee, watching Daddy on the tube. Brent Schaefer's ready. Equalizer's ready. Equalizer doesn't even get off the line, and Barefoot is there. You gotta wonder what happened to the Equalizer. David's been running so well this year, but the win goes to Barefoot and Brent Schaefer.
Hey, this could be Gary Porter's day. I mean, he's already taken care of Gravedigger. But the guy who drives the big Chevy from Wadesboro, North Carolina, still has the big, bad blue Ford from St. Louis staring him right in the face. We'll see how he handles that when Monster Truck Challenge continues in just a moment. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Monster Truck Challenge right here on ESPN, and we continue to come from Providence, Rhode Island, where it's looking more and more like Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher is the truck to beat. He's got his work cut out for him in round 2 since Bigfoot is staring at him from the other lane. Our other semifinal race is between Fast Loser Taurus with Jackie Willman in the driver's seat and Fred Schaefer's Barefoot, who's looking pretty hot so far as the second fastest qualifier and winner over Equalizer in round 1. Back to Providence and our man on the scene, Joe Lowe.
The crowd here in Providence is loving this, Ken, and they should be. They're seeing the best monster trucks in the world. Bigfoot 10, the brand new truck out of St. Louis, Missouri. But as you mentioned, the Carolina Crusher is who he has to get past. Now, Gary Porter is having the best day he's had of the year. He has the lane choice because he was the fastest qualifier. And right now, there is a difference in lanes according to everybody. He's going to stick in that far lane. So it's Bigfoot and Carolina Crusher up to the starting line. Not a bad idea. Hold your ears. Here we go. Every time these two trucks get together, it comes down to this, a photo finish. Bigfoot or Carolina Crusher, who was it? Gary Porter's optimistic. He gives the crowd a thumbs up as he backs down. Side by side, and the slow-mo cam picking them up. And Gary Porter over the finish line first. The win goes to Carolina Crusher. It was won right on the starting line. Bigfoot playing catch-up, and if he had had another 5 feet, he would have done it. But would-haves don't count. In monster truck racing, the win goes to Gary Porter. This is where he did it. On the starting line, the tires raise, approaches the ramp, up and over and into the championship round for Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. Hey, that's about as close as you're going to get. Bigfoot may have lost the race, but he's still got a lot of fans here in Providence, Rhode Island.
I like Bigfoot, how big and loud he is. I like the monster trucks because they're loud.
He loves coming, and I love taking him, and it's really important that he gets to go to things that he likes, and he really loves coming here.
I like the noises.
when the trucks go up in the air and they land on the cars, and the cars break in half and everything.
This big one.
And a big room as we get set for our next matchup, Taurus and Barefoot. Chevy versus Chevy, side by side. Fred Schaefer and Jackie Willman. No question about it. No question about it. The win goes to Barefoot and Fred Schaefer. So the Barefoot monster truck does it here and advances to the championship race in Providence, Rhode Island. Jackie Willman was not sleeping, but Barefoot just 8-peed his way through. Horsepower was everything in this race. Off the line, side by side. And it's just a matter of I got there first. Barefoot with the win. It's an all-Chevy final, Ken.
I love that logo. Have you driven over a Ford lately? The Carolina Crusher's making a habit of it. Now we've got Bigfoot on the sidelines along with Taurus. And Carolina Crusher now moves on to the finals against Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. Who's going to win? That's why you got to stay tuned. Monster Truck Challenge continues in a moment. You know, when the U.S. Hot Rod Association comes to town, it brings with it more than just monster trucks. Matter of fact, when they come to your town, maybe you'll be fortunate enough to see a young man named Jeff Weinke. He is a Hollywood stunt rider. As a matter of fact, he does things with motorcycles you can't even dream of. We had a chance to sit down and talk to Jeff, not only about what he does, but the scientific approach he takes to his entire act.
Well, I was very rambunctious as a kid, and my mom, she just really didn't take to heart what I was doing and didn't like what I was doing at all. I broke a couple bones as a kid, just driving a bicycle and skateboarding and so forth. But she just wouldn't take to heart anything that I was doing, and just had nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, to this day, she does not want to know when I'm doing a stunt. It's a very interesting job. There's physics involved. You're outdoors a lot of the times. The workplace changes. It's very challenging. It's physical. To me, it's a challenge not to prove to anybody else what I'm doing, but just to prove to myself that I can get something done that's spectacular action, whether it's for live shows or for the films, and get it done very safely. Actually, there was a stunt school that was going on at the time in St. Paul, and unfortunately they were fully booked, so I took it upon myself to teach myself. And I'd found out that they'd use cardboard boxes for decelerating bodies in high falls or jumping off of moving vehicles. So I took it upon myself to start experimenting with cardboard boxes and doing high falls. It was the cheapest way for me to start out, by just practicing high falls. So I worked from 20 feet all the way up to 80 feet with boxes in a matter of a month. And then I went on from doing high falls to fire burns. Right now I'm working on trying to coordinate films and second unit direct, which is doing stunts specifically for the camera. That's where my first love is photography. So that's essentially where I do want to be. Live shows are the toughest. You have an audience that's 360 degrees around you, so the stunt itself has to be pretty dangerous because the audience sees everything. It's not like you're using the camera to give the illusion of danger. When you do a live show, the danger is really there. That entailed me driving a motorcycle at 50 miles an hour, going up a ramp on fire, flying over a distance of 75 feet, and at that point, getting pulled off the bike, letting the bike go onto a crash, with myself just falling straight back down to the ground. When I go to do a stunt, I give it my all, and that all is professional. It's a hired performer, whether it be for movies or live shows, and nothing is left to chance. Nothing is left to chance for the crew or for myself. So in my respect, from my point of view, it's not as dangerous as what the observer sees.
I'll tell you what, he is amazing, but please do not try this at home. Jeff Weinke is a total professional. What you ought to do is go see him if he comes to your town. Back in a moment when we'll wrap it up here on Monster Truck Challenge. Slide 1-2. Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher, armed with lane choice, went out and beat the two biggest names in monster truck racing, Gravedigger and Bigfoot. Fred Schaefer is the second fastest qualifier, also had lane choice when Barefoot defeated Equalizer and then Taurus on his way to the finals. It's been a while since either has been to the winner's circle. One of them gets a chance to take that trip tonight. Okay, back to Joe Lowe in Providence, Rhode Island.
As you said, they worked very, very hard to get here, Ken, but it ain't over till it's over. This is our Monster Smash final in Providence, Rhode Island. And Fred Schaefer is on Gary Porter's mind.
Barefoot, he's a really strong runner. You know, he's been working this track really good. My truck, it's been working this track really good also. You know, I've changed some stuff on the truck, trying to make some more horsepower. It seems to really be getting out of the hole really good on the soft starting line, and I think it'll be whoever cuts the closest light will win the race. But the truck is just running 110% right now. You know, I've had some bad luck earlier on in the year. We've got it straightened out, and we're going for it. The biggest thing going through my mind is cut a close light. If you fall asleep and cut a slow light, you lost the race. You know, the race is over. You know, if you're sleeping at the line, you know, just a fraction of a second, you lost the race.
Gary Porter of the Carolina Crusher. It's good to see him back in the championships. He's worked hard to get here. Now, Fred Schaefer is no stranger to championship races. He was the 1990 world champion. And Fred, I know Gary Porter's on your mind.
He's the number one qualifier tonight. He is the guy to beat tonight, is Carolina Crusher. It's going to be a tough race.
Fred Schaefer, Barefoot, Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher. Let's do it in Providence, Rhode Island. One goes to the winner's circle, one goes on the trailer as the bridesmaid. Well, now the track officials are motioning for help. What's going on here? Fred Schaefer and Barefoot seem to have lost reverse. He's lost reverse gear. They're having to back him up. Now, the U.S. Hot Rod Association rules say that a truck must have both forward and reverse gears, and that means they must have it going into a competition. Fred Schaefer and Barefoot did have that before the competition. He lost it. He lost reverse on the starting line. They're getting him back. They're checking to make sure everything's fine. They say no leak in the transmission. He's going to run against Carolina Crusher. I hope he's got forward gear. We're in the finals right now. My gosh. He may not have been able to go backwards, but he definitely could go forwards. He definitely could go forward. The win goes to Barefoot and Fred Schaefer. Fred Schaefer had some trouble. They had to back him up. He even came from behind with the win. I've heard of having transmission problems, but if you're going to have bad problems, let's have reverse in monster truck racing. Just look at this. Boom. He's our winner here in Providence. And Gary Porter was doing everything right today. Running strong. The truck was holding together. The driving was good, but Lady Luck was not smiling on him. Let's go to your winner, Fred Schaefer.
Well, I've just made a lot of gear changes, some motor changes, transfer case changes. It's tough. These are the fastest 6 trucks here, and it's a tough battle every weekend.
Now for points, this really helps you out.
Yeah, I did. It brought me up about 30 points, 35 points.
Talk about the race against Carolina Crusher.
I knew it was going to be real close. He's number one qualifier, and I think with the starting line doing what it's doing out there, I think it was anybody's race. I think it was a little bit luck as far as running good.
You cross the line, you don't have the official time, but you knew you finished first. What's running through your mind?
I was glad to win, really. I was glad to win. I needed to get back up there in points, and these trucks are really fast.
One key to your winning today overall, what was it?
Stay in there and keep thrashing. I mean, I just keep thrashing on it. I mean, keep changing every run. That's what you got to do.
Man, that was fun. I mean, in no uncertain terms, Fred Schaefer let everybody know who's boss. Gary Porter had a fine go of it, too. But in Providence, it's Barefoot who wins it all tonight. Let's catch our breath for a second. We'll have more Monster Truck Challenge in just a second. To Fred Schaefer, he ruled this week in Providence, Rhode Island. One more time to Providence and Joe Lowe. Joe?
Thank you, Ken. You know, the folks in Providence were not only treated to the incredible monsters, we set a new Providence record in the mud racing. That's right, and this young man, young Matt Ward, 19 years old, and his Mystic Warrior broke the 2-second record. Now, if you're not familiar with mud racing, we had 13 mud racers here in Providence. The top 4 got to come back to what the U.S. Hot Rod Association calls the shootout. They were Dave Ray in Midnight Magic, Paul Schaefer, Mud Patrol, Jeremy Finley, and the S-Kicker, and Matt Ward with Mystic Warrior. This is Mystic Warrior's record-setting run. The Ford shuts it down. The time, 1.999 seconds, under 2 seconds, and a record set by Matt Ward and the Mystic Warrior. And when we say record, we mean the indoor Providence record, 1.999 seconds. And there's Matt Ward's dad, who goes with him to all the races. In fact, he's his crew chief. Matt Ward and the Mystic Warrior with the win. Mud racing entails 80 feet of mud, then an 80-foot shutdown area. You must shut down in that 80 feet or you're disqualified. And this 19-year-old Matt Ward shows you how to do it. He's one of the best in the world.
You know, the first round we broke an axle. We had to rush around and get fixed. I figured we'd come back and win that one. It feels great. We needed that boost there so we keep going on.
Dad, you got to be proud of your son tonight.
I'm proud, real proud. He did a great job.
Talk about the technique of winning that race.
We really needed it. We've been going out and setting fast time for 6 races in a row, but we had bad luck getting stopped, and I told him I'd back it off a little bit for him tonight so he could get stopped.
Saw you poking your head in, talking to him a little bit during the, while he was ready to go. What were you telling him?
I did tell him go ahead and run it to the end.
And Ken, there you have it, a brand new Providence indoor record for Matt Ward and Mystic Warrior at 1.999 seconds. The crowd certainly got their money's worth today.
Thank you, Joe, and congratulations again, too, to Fred Schaefer. Hey, that's it for now, but next week, get your Stetson out, maybe your cowboy boots. We'll talk to you from the Astrodome in Houston when Monster Truck Challenge revs it up one more time. So long, everybody.